My name is Sachin Shah, and today we're joined by Bernard Robinson, President and CEO of the Institute for Human Development, a full-service human resource development consulting firm. For over 25 years, the Institute for Human Development has assisted public, private, and non-government entities and organizations in the United States and Canada achieve their business goals. The Institute for Human Development is a 2010 Top Minority Business Enterprise Awardee and earned the Federal Acquisition Council Award for Excellence. We are here to discuss professional coaching and effective leadership. Welcome, Bernard.
Thanks so much, Sachin. I appreciate the invitation. I'm glad to be here.
Well, welcome to the show. Tell me, what is leadership coaching? Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, leadership coaching is what's typically described as guiding, instructing, or prompting leaders to perform better in the work that they have to do so that they become the best leaders that they can possibly be.
Great. And so tell me a little bit about how you got into leadership coaching.
Well, I've been involved with leadership training for about 25 years. And one of the things that I did very early in my career was being asked to guide and help a couple of managers become better at managing the business that they were involved in. That was just the beginning of the opportunity to leadership coach, if you will. But as time went on, it became a practice that I wanted to kind of expand. And so I began to actually promote the notion of not only training managers and leaders, but also getting to a point where we had the opportunity to personalize that process. And that's what leadership coaching is all about. It's really a personalized, customized approach to helping leaders really leverage and escalate and speed up the process of learning skills that allow them to be effective.
Great. Traditionally, leadership management coaching has really been thought of as something for senior executives and for managers. But can people outside of those ranks benefit from coaching?
Absolutely. It's a great question. One of the things that's important around leadership coaching is really the word coaching. Coaching is a word that can be applied to anyone who needs to develop skills and become better at what they do. For example, most people in any job probably could improve in their skills. One way of having them improve those skills is to send them off to class. Another way to have them improve their skills is to provide them with a coach. And so that's one of the benefits of coaching. So it's really not so much the position you have, it's the performance that you need to have. And that's where you can begin to really look at where coaching might be valuable.
So what are some of the benefits, like the return on investment in coaching?
Well, I think a couple of return on investments, and return on investment is kind of an interesting concept because coaching is a very personalized process. So what that means is that for every person who is involved with coaching, they have their own standard. What that means, though, is that they're the ones who really determine the return on investment. But typically, and in general, anyone who's involved with coaching will get a couple of important things. They'll get an evaluation of how well they're doing the job that they're doing. They'll get an honest assessment of how they might really look at improving their skills. They'll get an opportunity to build a good vision for what it is that they'd like to do. So a way of looking at it, they learn what it is that they're doing and get an assessment on how well they think they're doing, how well they are, because they get an assessment from other folks who are looking at their work. They get an opportunity to build a vision of where they'd like to be. They get data that allows them to kind of to identify the gaps between where they are and where they'd like to be. And then they have the opportunity to create a personalized plan that allows them to have their own personalized process for getting better.
So this sounds like a really deep relationship between you and your client. You know, that has a lot of trust in it, has a real strong trust factor.
Well,
how do you build that trust?
Two words that you just mentioned, relationship and trust. Like in any organization, in any relationship, I should say, it's a personal relationship, and the two things that are important in a relationship, trust is important, and the way you build trust is to really show yourself as both competent and credible. One of the ways I've done that, and one of the ways I think you have to do that, is to be yourself. And that's where it starts, because you can't ask a person to be transparent with you if you're not transparent as well. So one of the things you want to do to build trust is to, in fact, be yourself. The second thing you really want to do in coaching is to listen, and listen well. But listen in the sense that you're listening to the person you're coaching, to understand the world as they see it. And that's important because you want to understand the context so that you can build some sense of understanding of what may in fact be important for them to get better.
Thank you. We're now going to take a short break, and when we return, we will continue our conversation with Bernard Robinson with a focus on how individuals can use coaching to reach and attain their personal leadership goals.
Good deal.
Our guest today is Bernard Robinson, President and CEO of the Institute for Human Development, an international company that helps individuals and businesses grow leaders to meet their strategic goals. In the first segment, we discussed what coaching is and the opportune timing for using a coach. I would like to use this time to discuss what expectations team members have of leaders and how the Institute of Human Development helps leaders meet and exceed those expectations. Now, thank you, Bernard, again for joining us. Leadership coaching sounds an awful lot like mentoring. What are some of the differences between the two?
That's a great question, and it's a good question because they're often confused. They're similar in that they both are intended to create a good and safe learning environment, but mentoring is really passing on knowledge and wisdom, and that's one way of looking at it, where coaching is a matter of passing on skill. Essentially, the focus and intent of mentoring is to give information that the person can use. The focus of coaching is to not only give skill, that's the primary piece, but to then give the knowledge and wisdom as it's associated with the skill development. So they're different in that respect.
Oh, that's very interesting. Let me ask you, how does the Institute for Human Development help clients, help executives and leaders manage the transitions in their career?
Well, the fact is we're all going through a lot of different transitions, particularly in the work world at this point. When I think about the transition, the way I would want to interpret that is what happens when you have to move to a new job, new responsibility. One of the things that the Institute tries to do is to help folks look at and understand the context for the change that they're going to go into or go through. And in doing that, what we try to do is give them a good way of assessing what this new change will mean for them and what new requirements will be required. One of the ways of looking at doing that is making sure that they look at the environment that they're working in, whether it's the current environment that's changed now, they're going to move up, or whether it's a whole new environment. So we help them understand the context of the work. We also help them to understand the nature of the people and the diversity that exists in the new environment. Both of which is important because...
Really good point, especially the last bit. I think a lot of people forget about organizational diversity and positions and different people working together.
Absolutely.
To build an effective team. What's gratifying to you personally about coaching?
Well, there are two things, and coaching is really, I love it because of two things. I love teaching and I love learning. Mm-hmm. Coaching provides a combination of both of those. And one of the interesting things about that is while, yes, I'm a coach, I like doing what I do, I think I may know a little bit about what I do and how I do it, but really the learning process that you have when you're coaching, it's kind of a mutual learning process. You do bring a little bit and maybe a lot to the table, mm-hmm. but it's a relationship that allows you to grow. Because really the thing about it, if you and I were in a coaching relationship, the kinds of challenges that you have really enrich my notion of what I should bring to the table to help you work through that and think through that. Oh. So it's an iterative process. And again, it's a process where you're trying to give, but you must be open as a coach to know that you're still learning. It's really kind of a fun kind of thing. But here's the important piece. When you're coaching, if you can kind of capture a situation where you help a person really improve their human capacity, human potential, mm-hmm. and get to be the best they can be, then it's cool and it's really fun. It's kind of gratifying and fun. And you can get there, but again, it's about relationship and understanding what the person you're coaching, that learner, if you will, or that leader needs.
That's a really great insight, especially the part about about turning it inward and being a bit of a two-way street. I want to thank you, Bernard, for joining us today. If you would like more information on coaching or have questions about their service and company, visit the Institute for Human Development at ihdinc.org. Thank you for watching and have a great day.
Thanks so much.